So when we hear about heaven or hell, we hear about eternal suffering or eternal happiness. But either of these don't make any sense. For example, we're told that in heaven we have eternal happiness, but that doesn't make any sense because there is no suffering in order to contrast the happiness. Therefore, happiness cannot really exist because it is dependent on suffering's existence. Same thing with suffering. Suffering is existing because of the contrast it has with happiness. So eternal happiness cannot exist in an environment where there's no suffering to contrast it. How do you know what happiness is if you've never had suffering before? I'm going to put this argument in the form of a syllogism, so feel free to rip it apart in the comments. But the first premise goes, the existence of happiness is dependent on the existence of suffering to contrast it. Premise 2, suffering does not exist in heaven. Conclusion, happiness does not exist in heaven. I would love to hear some discussion on this, especially the syllogism. I think premise 1 could actually be contested using something. If you're just going to comment that heaven doesn't follow reason and it's outside of the realm of reason, just don't bother, because that doesn't mean anything. You can just say that about anything. It's kind of just a cop-out argument and an intellectual discussion where we're trying to discuss using reason. So if you're just going to comment that heaven doesn't follow reason, just don't. You can just move on from this video. But if you actually have a reason that the syllogism doesn't work, please let me know.